an extraterrestrial. Like an extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial.
Doctor?
Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like an extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like an extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial.
Doctor?
Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Like I don't belong. I feel like I don't belong. Extraterrestrial. 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 Extraterrestrial.
So, let's get started with the show. We haven't done this in a while. Talking Point Debunked. This is the first one of season 10 of the BTSI show. And for the newcomers, for those who haven't been on the side of YouTube, I've been doing the show since March 20th of 2015. And we're on season 10 right now. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of spaces in between because I like to record when I want to record or put out projects when I want to put out. So, and whenever I get a good idea, that's when I come around, just put it out. So, and in this way, no holds bars. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm not really too concerned about the YouTube guidelines per se about censorship. All I'm going to ask is like, don't do no new stuff. Or if you got a history of banning people's channel, then that's the only time I'm going to get you out of here. But other than that, this is no holds bars. You guys are free to say what you want in the chat. Do what you want. It's all good with me. But let's get to today's show. Talking Point Debunked. And actually, where are my notes at? Okay. So, you saying, now some people say you took notes for this? Yeah. Thursday, on my Thursday shows when I take notes. Anytime I do get off a chest, it's pretty much off the top of my head. I ain't no planning. This whole talking point, men are natural leaders. When I first heard this, maybe about a year or two ago, because most of this stuff I hear on YouTube or Clubhouse, I hardly hear this in real life. Because when you bring some of these talking points to real life, you're gonna see the men stand up, and you're gonna see the men handle their business, and you're gonna see like some YouTubers will have to crawl back into the cage that they came out. Now, this talking point, men are natural leaders. I've been hearing this for the past couple of years, and it never sat well with me. I do understand that men are leaders, but it's that word natural leader. Like, what do you mean by the word natural? Like, I don't know where that come from. If men are leaders, yeah, sure, because that's a quality that all men should have. I can agree with that. But that natural leader, it doesn't quite sit well with me. So I'll say to myself, we might need to break this word down to the T to figure out what does this whole thing mean, this whole entire thing mean. So when it comes to natural leaders, well, when it comes to the word natural, if I recall correctly, I believe there's about, give me 1 second, I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, when it comes just to break down the word, when it comes to the word natural, it being an adjective in a noun, you're looking at, I don't know, 38 definitions. And obviously, when it comes to the word leader, it's just a noun, you're looking at a nice 7, to be honest. So, what's the best way to define natural leader? Here's what I came up with. A natural leader is someone who inherently possesses the qualities and traits that inspires and guide others without needing formal authority or a designated leadership role. These individuals typically exhibit a strong sense of confidence, empathy, decisiveness, and the ability to communicate effectively. They often demonstrate integrity, resilience, and a genuine concern for the well-being of their team or community, earning respect and trust from others through their actions and characters. Natural leaders can influence and motivate people, foster collaborations, and drive positive change through innate leadership abilities. Now, that sounds great when you combine the definition of natural and leader and put them together. If that's the definition you come with, then I'm okay with that. Those are great qualities. And just for the record, my ideology is the same as last week. We're going to come this from the me being a Christian, child of God, a believer of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So I just want to throw that out there to let everybody know where my thought process is coming. Now, here's the thing. Speaking of thought process, I'm gonna read this to you guys. The word natural was originated from the Latin word natura, meaning birth, character, or quality. The closest thing a natural leader was Adam, but his orders came from God. He climbed the steps to be a leader. He had to be under the guidance of another entity. This symbolized that you must crawl before you walk when it comes to being in a leadership role. Basically, how can you be a natural? This whole natural leader is, well, there you go. It can be taught to you. All of it, honestly, which contradicts the word natural, meaning you get in there, no one tells you anything, no one's looking, everybody's checking the mail, checking their cell phones, and while you're over there, you're supposed to naturally get a group of people, tell them what they're gonna do, and lead them and guide them to do it. No, that's not how this really works. That's not, no, just no. We're not gonna put that on all men. Actually, I'm not gonna put that on nobody, to be quite honest, because I do believe, no, whatever way you want to use, when it comes to being a leader, don't you have to be a follower first? Crawl before you walk. Walk before you run. It's hard for someone to come into a situation. I know it happens all the time. If you want to use the workforce as an example, it's hard for someone from an outsider to come into a situation and say, do this and do that and go over there and do this without any proper training or experience of what it means to be a follower. Let me use Chick-fil-A as an example. Chick-fil-A, and also I can use Men's Warehouse as well. I never worked at Chick-fil-A, but everybody knows I worked at Men's Warehouse as a tuxedo consultant. When it comes to, let me put this to this. Oops, let me put this to the side so I can make sure I keep an eye on the chat. When it comes to promotions, they're not hiring from the outside. As far as I'm gonna hire you to be a manager. Now, some people who have the degrees and experience say that's cap. I can go in there and I can get any position. Why you mean to tell me they're going to tell you no? Yeah, they're going to tell you no. I've seen it all the time. They will tell you no. To own to be a store manager at Chick-fil-A, you got to be hired on as one of the crew members. Whether it be you're taking orders in the drive-thru, taking orders at the counter, just whatever. You have to start there first, and then you got to work your way up to shift leader, then manager, then so on and so forth. The reason why they have it like that is, and Men's Warehouse is similar. The reason why they have it like that is because you know what it means. Before you became a store manager, you know what it means to be a assistant manager. Before you became assistant manager, you know what it means to be a shift leader. Before you became a shift leader, you know what it means to be a crew member. So as a store manager, you have all those experiences. Now you know what to do as far as leading. And not only that, you can actually come down to their level and assist them and help them out. That's what a good leader does. He doesn't sit on his throne all day telling person, hey, clean the room, go wash the dishes, y'all stop fighting, doing all that from the throne. No, you got to get off your throne and you got to show people why you're a leader. It's because I was a follower first, a great one at that. And being a great follower is going to elevate you into your leadership status. So how can you be, if you, to be a good leader, you have to be a great follower. So what's natural about that? You had to learn, because how the context natural leader is being used, especially in this space, is mean no type of formal training. No one teaches you anything. You get there, and because I'm a man, I'm in charge. No, that's not how this works. That's not how this works at all. You can go from plenty of people's panels, and you can see there's not a lot of leaders in the space, if any. Let me be respectful. I'm not going to say if any. I'm just going to say there's not a lot. There's a lot of pretenders out here because they can't do this in real life, so they come to the internet and spew something that they don't do, which is fine. Like I said, this is wrestling. Everybody can create their own persona, but at the same time, when it comes to using certain words, know what you're using, know what you're saying. Men are not natural leaders at all, because you have to learn how to be a leader first. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that talking point is officially debunked. There is no such thing as a natural leader when it comes to men. There's no such thing as a natural leader, period. Men, women, child, undecided, doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a natural leader. Everything is taught to you, including leadership. Chaotic Clubhouse is in building. Salute to you, my guy. What's going on? Anytime you guys hear people on these panels saying that men are natural leaders, tell them stop the cap. Tell them stop bullshitting, because you're leading people down the wrong path when you say that. You're giving false, misguided encouragement to people who think because I'm a man, this is what it is. No, that is not. Just because you're a man, that doesn't make you a leader. Somebody had to teach you. Where was your pops at? Where was your grandfather at? Where was your uncles at? Where's your OGs on the block at? Where's your coaches at? Where are your role models at? Those are your leaders, and you are the follower. Once you soak up all the information from them, then you can then start transitioning into leadership. That's the steps that as it goes. That's the order. That's the way life, how the order goes. You're not born into this world as a leader. Some people honestly think they could be Jesus Christ with it and just get born into the world. And, you know what? I'm gonna lead all people. I was like, you ain't Jesus. That ain't how this works. Carver, what are you doing? I debunked it easily. When it comes to being natural leader, it's it's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as a natural leader. Before you become a leader, you gotta be a follower. So yeah, that's debunked. Biology is the one thing that is natural, the thing you don't control. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. Now, I beg to differ. I know. I wish it's 7:53. Can I drop that link? Hold that thought. Let me continue on because I'll probably drop the link and I'll get you a chance to speak on this. Now, we can't just debunk something and just leave it the way it is. Here's I already went ahead with my thought process, and I do believe the principle to this is real simple. To be a leader, you must be a follower with the value system to ensure that your guidance is effective to those under you. And actually, let me take a moment to type that in the chat. To ensure that your guidance is I'm sorry. The principle is real simple. To be a leader, you must be a follower to ensure that your guidance is effective to those under you. And I think, like I said, it's a movie. It's a continuous circulation. You start off as a follower, then you work your way to be a leader, and you continue that cycle. Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. And actually, let me do this for my guy, Cowboy, because I really need to type this. Anybody that has any comments on that, agreements or disagreements, you're more than welcome to click the link, and I will give you a chance to speak on it. But yeah, to Brittany's point, the only thing that's natural is biology. Leadership is not biology. You guys know it. You guys see it around you. There's in that case, everybody's a leader, and we all know that is far from the truth. Far from it. So I'm just being honest with it. But yeah, that talking point should be dead moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to this natural leader stuff, there is no such thing as a natural leader in man or woman. Nobody at all. To be a leader, I'll start to say you gotta start from the way, way, way bottom and move on up. Actually, let me pin this link to the top so everybody can see it. So yeah, anybody has any questions or concerns, thoughts, whatever you want to spew, the link's up top. I will give you a moment to do it because I have actually have 34 minutes before I go get dressed and get out of here. So that is it for Talking Point Debunked, ladies and gentlemen. There is no such thing as a natural leader because, like I said, the principle is to be a leader, you must know how to be a follower to ensure that your guidance is effective to those under you and OGs in the building. Cowboy, what's good, man? How you feeling?
What's up? You hear me?
Yes, sir. What's good? Okay, yeah, go
No,
ahead, go
no.
ahead, go ahead. Take 90 seconds. Do what you gotta do because I gotta type this up anyway. But go ahead. What's your take on it? Because I know you disagree.
Yeah, I'm saying there are some things that people are born with. Some things that they don't have to be taught. Sometimes you run into children, and the way they move, it's like they've been here before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like teaching someone to sing. You can teach a lot of people to sing, but some people are born with the ability. It's just that simple. So to say that no one's born with the ability, that's not true. Are all men leaders? No. You know, so we know that. But I think we know that. Some people don't. But Yeah, you can't just assign leadership to a gender, you know. But some people are naturally born leaders.
But when you break down the word, now hold on, let me get this real quick because I'm gonna respond to that. There is a divine order, but that's with a man and a wife, and that comes with requirement. But Cowboy, based off a lot that logic, do you follow? You don't follow kids and babies, do you? Because that case, they're born with that leadership skill.
Well, that's a straw man argument.
You said that's a strong man argument.
Yeah, it's a straw man argument. You know, um, no one follows babies, but there are children that know more than you about a subject matter. You know, and you can see the leadership qualities in you. You know, so just because you don't want to follow them doesn't mean they're not a leader.
Because I think you're talking about like untapped potentials. Like they have the potential to be a leader, but even then, that still has to be molded. Because
No, mm-mm.
because you can
No, that's not
because
what I'm
you can
talking about.
huh?
That's not what I'm talking about. You know, that you'd have to see it, but there are some people that they're never going to follow somebody else. They're just not. You know, and they just have the ability. You know, And so most people have to be taught, but you know,
But Cowboy,
some
I'm
some
listening. But Cowboy, I'm listening to what you're saying, and everybody's listening. And it's like, but based off of what you said, they're born with those qualities. So as and so that means any like for example, Grayson is 6. Um, and I should I as his father follow him right now? Because we're all born with it. We're all born with it according to you.
who's born with it.
No, because you said because that's the whole point of being the that's the crush of the word natural, meaning this is something you're born to do. This is something you're born with. Like no one had to teach you it. You just come out the womb being a leader, and it's like no,
No,
absolutely.
yeah, no,
And I'm and
no.
I'm and I'm
You're
probably
making
a greater. And when it comes to actually who I learned from, the stuff I went in my life, I'm a leader than most people. But even then, I knew I had to start somewhere and work my way up. I wasn't
you
necessarily
what
born with this. I had to go through
you're
something to get here.
you're creating a straw man argument and you're projecting. Just because you had to go through that doesn't mean that this other individual did to learn how to lead. You know, people who are very empathetic, they usually are natural leaders. They're usually born into that too. So some people are just born with certain abilities, and other people have to be taught. That's just what it is.
Yeah, so those who are natural leaders, because like I said, because the closest thing to a natural leader you could say is Adam, but even then, God had to tell him uh, what to do. Fatty, what's up, man? How you feeling? Even God had to tell him what to do, how to get to where he's at. Albeit he messed up later, but we can talk about that some other time. But Cowboy,
Man,
even in your
you
case,
know how
you had you told
how I feel about Adam, man. Adam was a snitch.
yeah.
That dude was no leader.
Hey man, I'm actually do a subject on that along somewhere down the road. But the thing is, even because Cowboy, even you told me that you had OGs growing up. I'm not gonna say you're not a leader. I'm just not gonna say I'm not gonna say a natural leader. Now, based off how you carry yourself, then everybody's gonna gravitate towards you anyway. But still, you had to go through. There's certain steps you had to go through to get to where you at. There's certain life experience you had to go through to get to where you're at today. I believe that's across the board. That is the majority. And the whole idea of being natural, like I said, well, like Brittany said in the chat, biology is probably the closest thing. That
Well,
leadership, that's a learned behavior.
see, the key word there was majority. Yeah, the majority of people They're gonna have to learn. That's why when we run into these singers, they have this great range. They're
The
born with
who?
that. But you know what I'm saying?
You said the who?
Singers.
Singers. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So they're born with that. There's not a lot of people who are born with those abilities. You know what I'm saying? And we hold them up high, right? And
Mhm.
so, but that's not the majority. So here's the key: majority of
But,
people do have
but
to go
even that.
through.
Well, hold on. I was
Go
like,
ahead.
even that, you still got to go to single,
No, you
still learn
don't.
how to sing.
No, you
Because
do.
even
No,
Beyonce
you do
sounded
not.
trash
No,
once upon a time.
Beyonce.
Hold
Not
on, hold on,
Beyonce.
one second. Hold on, one second. I gotta, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just talking about her as a child. I'm not talking about current her now. So please stay out of my DMs. You will get cussed the fuck out. Sorry, go ahead.
No, Beyonce doesn't have range,
Bolo,
dude.
what's good, fam? How you doing, man?
You
But
know,
go ahead.
no. Naturally born singers, they don't have to take any classes. You know what I'm saying? And they'll blow Beyonce out the water because Beyonce doesn't have the range.
But not,
You know,
but as a, we're talking about Beyonce now. Beyonce right now don't need that. I think 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old Beyonce needed some lessons knowing how to control her voice. Hell, even perfect example is Adele. When she first came out, and I forgot what was that song that she sang off of 21. That that certain voice that she hit in the chorus, she even messed up her vocal box. She had to go get surgery. So even then, she had to learn how to control her voice at a adult age. But as when you use hey Sugar, let me make sure Sugar get her wrench right now before I forget. Even as adult age, she needed lessons. But when we talk about Beyonce, does she need adult lessons right now? No. And keep in mind, I saw her live. Maybe as a child, yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. But what I'm saying is, it starts young. Now, I'm not talking about men being natural. When it comes to, in this case, men being natural leaders, we're talking. It starts when you're 6, 7, 8 years old. It all has to start somewhere, and all that manifestation is going to come out to play when you turn an adult. So, men being natural leaders, that's why I say I disagree with that. And that's a talking point debunk because it all starts when we're kids. That's where it starts. Because that's when you start to experience life. You start to see life for yourself. You start to come to your own conclusions, whether somebody teaches you or whether life teaches you. Other way, you have an OG that's going to make sure you get to your adult age knowing what you know. That's what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but you know, what I'm trying to explain to you is, that may be the majority, but that's not, you know, absolute.
Do you
You see what
know
I'm
any?
saying?
Can you give us an example of anybody that is a natural leader? I guess
It wouldn't.
I guess
It wouldn't
celebrities. I
be.
guess because I'm pretty sure it's easy to say somebody from your
No,
block. Not to say that's disingenuous, but do you know anybody that you can say, okay, that's a natural leader?
it wouldn't be anybody that you knew.
Hmm.
Because I don't know these celebrities. I don't know them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It would be somebody I grew up with. You see what I'm saying? Just like the whole singer thing. I grew up with a singer in the house. No lessons.
Hmm.
Just born with what they call a gift.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but you are correct in the assumption that a male is instantly a natural leader. That's absolutely incorrect.
I
You
know.
know?
Trust me. I know. Trust me. I know for a fact.
Yeah.
But
And a
yeah.
lot of guys, we keep hearing them argue it, and it's just like, what's really going on?
But yeah, at the same time, Cowboy, when we talk about the brothers in this space, you know the clubhouse days, and I'm pretty sure fan base is no different. You have certain people say that men are natural leaders. It's like you're putting a broad brush on a group of people that has yet to proven. Let me rephrase that. I'm not gonna say yet to proven themselves, but what I'm saying is you can't be handing out that title. First of all, you can't be handing out the title leaders, let alone the word natural, because we could cancel that natural word. That's not happening. But when it comes to leadership, I don't even pass that word out. I can tell you what we expect in a man, but it's up to a man to show us that you're a leader. Let's get there first. And actually, once you get there, you're set to go. The whole natural thing, no, no, that's biology, and
Mm,
there's no gene or DNA that says you are born a leader.
I think that well, like I said, in DNA is tricky because it remembers. You know, so if you come from a family of leaders, that gets passed on.
That's environment.
Um,
Oh, come on, cowboy. That's environment. You're born into your environment. That's just like the
no, no,
argument
no.
saying.
I
That's
mean,
like
we can
saying, were you
argue.
born gay or were you born straight? No, you're born into your environment. What you experience is going to determine whether you go straight or whether you go rainbow.
That's not correct either. So, I mean,
Mm.
and science is proving that, but but yeah, science has proven that DNA
And there's a gay
remembers.
gene.
DNA absolutely remembers.
Okay,
You
to
know,
remember. Okay.
you know what I'm
Okay.
saying. So if you come from a family of leaders, you know, you may be just born a natural leader. Outside of that, most people would just have the potential. It's like
I
Mario Andretti. It's like Mario Andretti passed on his hand-eye
Guys.
coordination to his sons. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they became great racers. Also, that's not a fluke.
But
That's
that's physics.
what
That's
happens.
God rest his soul. But that's physics, though. You talking hand-eye coordination? That's all physics,
No, that's biology. That's biology.
right?
That's
And
DNA.
no, right? No, no. Well, when it comes to hand-eye coordination, and trust me, there's nothing more. That's probably one of the most difficult techniques to do in all of sports. Because I'm thinking of baseball for the most part when it comes to hand-eye coordination. Trust me, I have an idea. My hand-eye coordination needs some work, but when it comes, that's the same with the leadership thing. Like you born into a family of leaders. Hell, so was I. And trust me, I had to watch my father lead. I had to watch when anytime we had those Nigerian meetings once every a month on a Saturday. I had to watch them. When I go to church, I had to watch them. So I would tell people I wouldn't consider myself a natural leader. I would consider myself blessed because I was around leaders and I was able to soak up the knowledge. And that's why you have Christopher J today.
Well, let me put it to you this way: when things go horribly wrong,
Mm-hmm.
you know, airplane crashes, things like that, you know, shootouts, whatever. The people that you never thought were leaders, they suddenly
Mm.
pop up because it was
Yeah.
naturally in them. It's not because somebody taught them. There's a lot of people who have leadership abilities that are not interested. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they're born with their abilities. So there's a lot out there. Like I said, I would study DNA more if I was you, because like I said, our DNA remembers everything. I mean, it remembers our entire lineage. You know, so if you become a great carpenter, and then you find out there was carpenters in your family tree, that's not an accident. It's not a fluke. And man, you may have never been taught anything about carpentry, but you turn out great. That's not a fluke. So you were a natural carpenter.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
But okay, now when you say because when you say it like that, and obviously I think it's safe to say, Al Cowboy, I don't know how much of the others YouTube side you hear about this thing, talking point being debunked. I think we already got rid of that. See, what you're talking about is because of lineage, and because when you're born into the lineage, that still exists around you in the environment. Because you're
No,
talking
that's not what I'm
about
talking about. That's not what I'm talking about.
no. That's
That's
what I'm
not
getting to. No, because that's what I'm letting on. Because
okay.
I acknowledge your point of the DNA. I hear
All
you.
right.
And I acknowledge that. I'm still leaning towards that. I'm still leaning towards the idea of you can have that lineage in you. You can still be a grade A fuck up. You can go look at the Biden administration. Well, you can go look at Joe Biden's family and see that just as a clear example of hey, great father, shit of a son. The lineage is there.
Wait a minute. Was he great?
I know. Just an example, man. But 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 hey man, Cowboy, you already know, man. I like your insights on a lot of things. But here, stay for this one last thing before we go, because I want to
All
take
right.
I already know you have a strong take on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw this video the other day, and of course I had to download it, and I thought this would be a great thing to talk. Hold on, wait, Brittany, what did you say? Wait, so what if you have hoes in your family history? You can be born to be a hoe. That's just learned behavior. Oh, that is a good. That is a very good point. That is a very good point.
You may be born with a mindset that doesn't mind. Doesn't mean you're going to become one, but if you ever had to, it may be easier for you to take your clothes off, and have sex with strangers than the next person. We have to be careful what we do in life, especially even before we have children, because a lot of this stuff we pass on right away. We learn something new, we pass it on in our DNA, you know, and
So
so
hoes,
there's that. Now on the flip side of that,
hoes are
that
hereditary. Cowboy, hoes are hereditary.
they couldn't inherit a mindset. You know what I'm saying? Now, on the flip side of that, that same mindset doesn't mean that they have to be a hoe. It means that they're not as bashful, and then they can get on stage and become a comedian. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, it's not like if if you're come from a family of pickpockets and thieves, you know, you may become a great surgeon because pickpockets and thieves they have to have a lot of hand dexterity. You see what I
Oh,
mean?
pickpocket. Okay.
And yeah, and that's where the environment comes in that you were talking about.
Oh, so we are all slaves. Jesus, I acknowledge what you're saying. I still lean, and like I said, I acknowledge your DNA standpoint on this. Oh shit, making his debut on the BTSI show. I may tell my job I'm coming in a little bit late. Ladies and gentlemen, Bolo
Uh-oh.
TV is in the building. Bolo, what's good, brother? How you feeling?
I'm good, brother. How y'all feeling? Everyone good?
Blessed, highly favored, man. How you feel? What you got on the topic, man?
I think that we can't be absolute on either or. When we're talking about having natural leadership, you can have the building blocks, but you still have to be taught the knowledge and wisdom and gain understanding. Even the greatest of leaders have counselors. So, even when you talk about someone having natural dexterity and natural this, natural that, he still has to, or she still has to be taught to use them and to hone them. Same way what you said about the singing. Singing is a God-given gift, right? However, being able to use it has to be taught. The breathing, the accent de grave, all these different things that a singer must learn to be the best at their craft. So, we have to apply both. Again, you can't teach someone to be a singer. And then it's between someone that can hold a note and someone that can sing. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about like the Luther Vandross, the Patti LaBelle's. We're talking about, those that, that send that chill down your spine when you hear them sing. Their craft has to be honed. That's without a doubt. But you have to have a foundation to work with, right? So if you're not a natural singer, I can't teach you how to do that. That's something that you have to have, something that's a gift. So, when it comes to both of your talking points, both you and Cowboy, I think both of y'all are on it. You just have to merge the two.
Yeah, I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to that at all. Because I use that. I stated that earlier regarding the singing. Like, yeah, you could have the God could give you the gift or structure your voice box. I'm trying to not say nothing pause worthy. Structure your voice box to the point to where yes, you have the potential to be the greatest singer in the world, but how you use it and how it's operated is solely based off of who's guiding you and who's leading you into the right direction.
Absolutely. It goes into the discipline, because if it's already in you, right? I mean, even when you look at biblically, those that were good kings were the ones that didn't want the power. Those that wanted it turned out to be the worst ones. So if you're not taught to reverence the gift that you have or the talents you have, you're going to take it for granted. So when you're able to learn it and understand it, and you know that this was something given not to everyone. Everyone is not blessed to have the talents that each and every man and woman has on this earth. So you learn to take care of it. You know what I'm saying? So you learn that it's specially honed for you. And this is where you become the best at your craft. Because when you understand that, can't no one do what you do. If you have that discipline, if you take that time, if you're the first there and the last to leave, if you take it serious, if you don't take it for granted, then these gifts that Cowboy is talking about that are more born into, that it isn't something that you can just get, you know, being able to jump so high. But now you have to train yourself on how to jump correct. There was an interview where someone came and asked Bruce Lee, "Can you teach me how to kick?" Bruce Lee said, "Kick."
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people get caught up in what does that mean? Bruce Lee can only teach you technique. You got to have the zeal and the discipline to want to kick. And that's the difference. I can only teach you the technique. If you don't have that zeal or that talent to want to do it or to be able to do it, I can't give you that.
Right. But what that wouldn't make him like, let's just use the idea of kicker. Would you still call him he's a natural at this, or that's just something he has at home? But or you say you just got to merge both?
Well, you merge both. You have some people that have that natural talent to be able to kick that are just they're very exceptional than the norm. You have some people.
And Bolo, here's the thing. Not to interrupt you. See, yeah. I can make the argument in a way that's biology. Obviously, you have what it takes to physically make it do what it do, but you need Bruce Lee to take you all the way. But when it comes to the leadership, that natural part is what bothers me, because I brought up Adam as an example from the Bible, probably the closest thing to a natural leader, but even God had to give him instructions on what to do.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, remember, he had to be counseled, right? Adam never came into the situation where his wife was disobedient. He didn't deal with it. And when it did happen, he dealt with it wrong. So he had to be counseled. So even when you know, we have to understand that even naturally, there's a difference between, okay, I'll give you an example. Michael Jackson. Michael, natural dancer. He didn't just stop at naturally being a dancer. He went to schools. He went and he was taught. There are interviews with other dancers that weren't as gifted as he was jealous that this dude naturally can do what took them years to learn, that he would just do it. But he still had to hone it. He still had to have teachers guide him on the talent that was just naturally given to him. And so again, doesn't mean that, you know, Chris ain't gonna be able to dance as good as Bolo. It's just going to be that it took Chris 10 years to get to where Bolo took 2. You know what I'm saying? There's just natural things that some people have naturally than others, but you still can't the leadership as far as still being guided and taught. Because even when you read the Bible, you say knowledge get wisdom, but all by getting it what? Get understanding. Why? It's not the wisdom and the knowledge that's the issue. It's applying said knowledge and wisdom. That's where the comes in.
So real quick, because I already know Cowboy believes that this is talking point verified. The talking point, men are natural leaders. Do you think that's a true talking point that makes sense, add values, help to achieve your ultimate goal, or that is proven to be that men? Well, men are natural leaders. You can throw women in there, but the word natural, is that something verified, or is that something that needs to be debunked or has been debunked?
Not every man is meant to be a leader. So if you're going to say the whole species of man, not every man is meant to be a leader, just like not every man is meant to be a husband. Not every man is meant to be a father. Not every not every woman is meant to be a wife or a mother. There are certain men that are cut out for certain jobs. There are certain men that are made to be counselors. There are certain men that are made to be leaders. There are certain men that have it innately, naturally in them, and you see it when it comes to how they talk, how they walk. Being a leader it's not an entitlement, right, Chris? It's and you see this innately in the men that do not take that position for granted. Like I said to you before, the great kings of Israel, they didn't want power. They didn't want it because it came with a lot of responsibility, accountability. Not only are you responsible for yourself, you're responsible for everyone below you. And they tended to put themselves to the side. Not everyone has that thought process. Not every man is going to put his brother first. So the cliche when they say men are natural leaders, that's not true. Not all men are leaders. Now, when you say the species of men lead women, then I go with you 100%. But not men in the species will be men, will be leaders. That makes sense.
And Cowboy, and I think Cowboy somewhat agree with that, right, Cowboy? That not all men are leaders to begin with, correct?
No, they're not. And so it doesn't make any sense to keep trying to do something that you're not good at doing. If you're a rapper and you suck, then stop it. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not good at leadership, I mean, you can learn, but some people they don't. Some people, you put them in a position of power, and they don't handle it well. They're just not good at it. And it's like you need to kind of sit back and let somebody else take the reins.
Okay, I accept that. So I think and Bola, I appreciate your input on this. So I guess the idea, well, and like I said, my whole idea was to debunk this whole talking point about when it comes to men being leaders is how it's been used in this space. Bolo been in this space obviously a lot longer than I have, so I'm pretty sure he heard this talking point ad nauseum. But for me, I'm not giving this, like I said, I'm not putting, we could scratch out the word natural. I'm not putting the word leader on anybody and everybody. You have to prove to the masses that you are a leader. Now, Cowboy brought up a situation like, let's say there's a shootout or whatever. Somebody decides to stand up and lead and take charge of whatever the case may be. Those are opportunities you have to wait for it to pop up. You don't go create it. You got to make it work. So
yeah, even with that, a natural person that has leadership qualities won't wait in those situations to happen. It's innately in them, right? So like that is to happen. They're not looking for it. Anytime you look at a leader,
Don't go down with it.
it's not something that it's like these guys see that they're alphas.
Hey, Bolo, I think you got, hold on, Cowboy, is that your background or is that Bolo's?
Yeah, hold on, man. Let me mute up.
It's
not
like
good.
men that claim to be alphas, right? They come in, I'm an alpha, I'm this, I'm that, I have money, I have this, I have that. From a counselor's perspective, and I counsel a lot of men. From a counselor's perspective, that's just projection. Because alpha don't need to project, dog. You are what you are. When you walk into the room, your presence says what it says. You feel what I'm saying? I don't have to walk into a room and pound my chest saying, I am man, hear me raw. I don't need to do that. Hear people screaming, I'm a man, I'm a man. Really what they're saying is, I'm a child. I've never been treated as a man. So when they come to the YouTube spaces where they can reinvent themselves, I'm a man. But at the end of the day, what you are will always show forth. So even in their conversation, you start to see the weakness in them show through, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that you have trauma, you have things you need to deal with so that you can become what you need to be. But if you don't deal with the traumas and the things that are holding you back, you will always be that fragment of man that you want to be.
Right on. And also, it's funny that you brought up the words like people want to call themselves alpha. I want to say 2 months ago, we actually debunked the whole alpha male talking point. We have to go through the history of where that originated from and how the author made a mistake and try to fix it, but it was too late. Yeah, there's anybody that says that they're alpha male, I automatically tune them out at this point because there's no such thing.
Absolutely. You are who you are. You know, I don't have to tell someone that, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. So how do you know? I don't have to tell Chris I'm a solid dude. From the interaction that him and I and Cowboy are going to have, he's going to see that I'm solid. You understand? I don't need to say that. So anytime, you know, what we need to start doing is start listening to what people are not saying opposed to what they are saying.
That's exactly what I do. I'm more paying attention to your actions than what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
we got
that's real funny, man. That all that, because a lot of alpha male stuff has popped up, you know, and it just doesn't apply to humans at all, you know. So now we're dealing with alpha females to talk to. So it's all over the place.
I can't. I see when I debunk the alpha male thing and the fact that you still got women that say they alpha females. I say if you only knew what I knew, but I let people. Like I said, I let people talk, and I just let them hang themselves. I might supply the ropes, but that's neither here nor there.
Even when it what these cats don't get is, again, being a leader is knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at. Being a leader is service, right? So let me give you an example. If my wife is better at taxes than I am, guess who's doing the taxes?
Right.
She is.
Right.
See, again, these dudes are egotistical, and what they're doing is they're misconstruing the two, right? A leader doesn't do everything himself. This is why leaders have counselors. They have assistants. Because Cowboy might be better at math than I am, and Chris may be better at strategy, being strategic than I am. So I'm gonna have these two brothers by my side. So then when I need to, yo, Chris, what do you think I should do? We need to do this. What do you think I should do?
Yeah, because Cowboy's literally on my team from my clubhouse days. So trust me, I usually Cowboy will be the first one to tell you I'm ready to go off the handle, and he be like, "Nah, youngster, dial it back. You got this one wrong." So trust me, I'm also a good leader. Like you said, a good leader defers to his team. You're only as strong as your team.
Absolutely, and you don't echo chamber, right? You set up people that are gonna really tell you the truth. You don't set up people that are gonna stroke your ego. So this is what a good leader deals with: empathy, sympathy, love, generosity, honesty. You know, a direction, intention. All these things is what a good leader is. What makes a good and what's a good leader? A good man. Good man. It's simple. You don't need to put alpha in front of it. You don't need to put super in front of it. A good man is what a good leader is.
Matter of fact, see, and this is where I give credit to Brittany, because when we the times we had these conversations, like what is a man, what is a husband, or what is a wife, what is a woman? She said pretty much the answers has for the most part been to say like a child of God. And if that's all you really need is to be a child of God, and because that's my ideology. And if you're that, then you don't need to really go down these dark roads of how to become a man, how to become a leader. Just be a child of God and watch you take care of yourself and actually invest into that and watch how everything around you starts to grow.
Boom. You just summed it up, man. Because before I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a child of God. Before a wife or a mother, she's a child of God. So what keeps us in alignment is that relationship that we have with him. So when I come together with my wife, it's not about us. We come together in marriage to serve him. When you make you and the woman or the woman and the man, now you put a roof over your head. Put a ceiling. And once you bump that ceiling, that's when problem starts. It has to be bigger than you.
No, that's a fact. I appreciate that.